Hello, everyone. This is Miss Maggie T with your daily dose of inspiration. And of course, if you're new to the channel, I want you to hit that subscribe button so you won't miss another post from me. And yes, I have been missing in action as of lately with these. Had to deal with the family emergency with my baby. And just had to miss some time. You know how it is when you're mama. So I appreciate you guys tuning in to me. But let's get into it. Today, we are talking about worry. I'm going to start you off with a quote. Worry does not empty tomorrow of its sorrow. It empties today of its strength. And that holds a lot of truth because of the fact that worrying does nothing. It solves nothing. It only just puts you in a panic. And a lot of times these things don't even happen. So why worry? So definitely want to get into the reasons why people worry. And then give you some solutions to how to worry less. Let's get to it. Now, as we get older and look back on our lives, many of us will think, I wish I worried less. We come to recognize that worry isn't worth what it can cost, which is tension, poor sleep, irritability, fatigue, problems concentrating, and general unhappiness. It's a list of things that worry can do. After all, most of what we worry about never happens. Like I said earlier, if worrying has so many drawbacks, then why do we do it? When some future outcome is uncertain, we want to make sure it turns out well. Understandable. But most of the time, even after we've done all we can to prevent a bad outcome, we can't eliminate the possibility that something could go wrong. Maybe it's missing a flight, getting sick, messing up at work, or losing somebody. We don't have ultimate control over whether these things might happen. When we have a hard time living with this uncertainty, we might return to the situation in our mind and keep turning it over, imagining every what if and how we might handle it. We're trying to control an uncontrollable situation. Worrying about uncertain future events just reinforces itself. How can a mental state tied to so much anxiety be rewarding? It's a question a lot of people have to ask themselves. Each time we worry and nothing bad happens, our mind connects worry with preventing harm. So, kind of want to get into the reasons why we keep doing it. First one is, if I worry, I'll never have a bad surprise. I mean, nobody likes to be blindsided by bad news. So we might worry to prevent disappointment. Unfortunately, we can't foresee everything that will happen to us, so it's impossible to avoid upsets. In the meantime, how much are we suffering by fearing the future? It's a good question. Next one is, it's safer if I worry. Some people believe that. Our beliefs about worry can have a superstitious element because we believe that the act of worrying itself somehow lowers the likelihood of a dreaded outcome. We might think that if we stop worrying, we'd be inviting trouble. It's far from the case. But if we constantly worry, we never get to test out this belief to see if it's true. Most of the time, our worries are about as impactful as mentally keeping the plane up when flying in an airplane, assuming we're not the pilot. The next one is, I show I care by worrying. A lot of people kind of think like that too. And we might tell ourselves that worrying says something good about us. I only worry because I care. This may be true, but we too often turn it around and think, if I didn't worry, it would mean I don't care. We need to distinguish between caring about a situation, including doing everything in our power to help it turn out well, and worrying needlessly and fruitlessly about it. If in doubt, we can ask our family members if they rather we worry more or show we care in other ways. Another way we think is worrying motivates me. It's not uncommon to believe that if we stop worrying, we'll become complacent or unproductive. And I think that way sometimes. And think about a recent time you were gripped with worry. Can you imagine yourself being motivated to take care of the situation, even if you weren't worrying so much? We need to differentiate between unproductive worry and productive concern and problem solving. The last reason we worry. Worrying helps me solve problems. But does it? We might tell ourselves that worrying is how we find solutions to our problems. However, extreme worry is more likely to interfere with problem solving. And once more, we need to be aware of the difference between productive problem solving and wheel spinning worry, meaning leading to nothing. It's just difficult to not worry. I understand. And at this point, you might be thinking, it's all well and good, but how am I supposed to worry less? And let's be honest, it's really hard to stop worrying, and I get that. So it helps to find multiple tools to assist in trying to fix that problem with this process. So I'm going to give you some things that you can try. And I hope this helps. First is calm the nervous system. When we're constantly worried and on edge, our nervous system is on high alert. Mental tension translates into physical tension, which can make us feel like we really should worry because we're feeling so physically agitated. So it just kind of causes more problems. And that's when we get into that panic mode. It can help to have ways to quiet our mind and body and find a sense of ease. Of course, there are multiple ways to do this, and I've always preach it. And it's muscle relaxation, meditation, and exercise. And next thing that you can try is notice when you're worrying and any beliefs that reinforce worry. We often don't recognize what our mind is up to. We might be aware of feeling anxious and stressed, but we don't realize that we have some degree of choice in letting go of those worries. So, awareness of the process gives us more choice in how we respond. So, being aware that we're worrying, and when you recognize it and handle it a little differently, you worry less because it becomes a little pointless. The next one is embrace uncertainty. Most of the time, most of the things we care about in life involve uncertainty. And we can't be absolutely sure we'll do well in school, that people will like us, that we'll always have our health, or that we'll have a happy marriage. And those are some examples that we worry about. And yet, we don't have to allow this uncertainty to stop us from living the life that we want. Beyond simply tolerating uncertainty, we can embrace it as an inherent part of living. We spend so much time trying to eliminate uncertainty that it takes considerable practice to begin to embrace it. Another one is live in the present, in the now. Training in mindful awareness is often a part of the treatment for excessive worry, as in generalized anxiety disorder, which most of us, including myself, deal with. Mindfulness emphasis focusing our mental energy on the present with openness and acceptance, an attitude that is helpful on many levels. Worry is by definition about the future. So training your attention on the present is a powerful way to reduce your worries. We can practice focusing our attention on the present in everyday activities like taking a shower. It kind of takes your mind off of things, kind of relaxes you. Walking or talking with a friend to distract yourself, as well as in more formal practices like, again, meditation or yoga. And last but not least, face your fears. We can't live our life in fear. It will just cripple us. Worry is intended to protect us from our fear, and yet it can lead to dwelling on things that will never happen. When we face our fears head on, they tend to diminish. Rather than worrying uselessly, we can practice deliberately accepting that we're afraid of what could happen. At first it will probably feel frightening. With repeated practice, though, our fears become less griping and we confront them with greater mindsets. You have to try it first, though. And it takes practice to worry less when we're in the habit of worrying, especially during this pandemic. And we're worried about how we can make ends meet. People's lost jobs. Some people are still on unemployment and can't make it. Or we're so behind on bills because we've, opened up all these loans and got all this debt going on. And it's just piling up and piling up. Especially when we had to wait on this stimulus package, and a lot of people haven't eaten in a while. It can become stressing. And even when we're determined to leave our worries behind, our mind will almost certainly return to them. It happens. Dropping our worries is a lot like meditating. Our thoughts will return to our worries. Just as our minds will wander from the breath when we meditate, we can set an intention and then return to it when we notice our mind has drifted. We can't eliminate all worries. It's impossible. But we can choose where we direct our attention. So, with that being said, I do hope that some of these tips can kind of help you. Take on each day as if it was your last. Stop worrying about what could happen, because you can't control the outcome of a lot of things. But you can prepare yourself better on how to deal with it. And it makes you stronger in the end, because you can kind of take on any challenge that comes your way. All right, people, appreciate you listening to me today, and I hope this message finds you well. And breathe. Last but not least, breathe. going to be all right, people. And pray. Pray about it. Because only God controls everything, if you're religious now. And He won't bring something on you that you cannot handle. Okay? You're strong, and believe that. Till the next time, people, this is Miss Maggie T with your daily dose of inspiration once again at Lush Exchange. And I appreciate you. All right? And I'm out. Have a wonderful day.